Now, for you personally, Gianni, your first bottles of Taurasi, they debuted from 2016, showcasing the 2012 vintage. This marked a late start in your journey as a producer. When we initially spoke, your ambition to become one of the top Taurasi producers was apparent. Could you share more about what led to this decision, and where do you see yourself positioned on the Taurasi ladder today?
Welcome to this special Clubhouse session of the Italian Wine Podcast. Listen in as members of the Italian wine community engage in fascinating conversations about contemporary wine topics. If you enjoyed the show, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. And remember to subscribe and rate the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your pods.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ambassador's Corner. My name is Carla Ravagnolo and today I'm pleased to welcome back, in this case, Wim Sas and his new guest Giovanni Fiorentino. We met Wim Sas in a previous episode of the Ambassador's Corner where he interviewed Judith from Clubhouse, a winery located in Alto Adige. But today, Wim is taking us to southern Italy, specifically in Campania. Before doing so, I'd love to share a little bit of Wim Sas' background. So Wim Sas is the founder of Wijnkennis in Lille, Belgium, and he's a renowned wine expert with over 30 years of experience. His company focuses on quality wines, and should you be wondering, in his latest interview, we've also discussed his personal definition of quality wines. He recently also learned the title of Italian Wine Ambassador from the Vinitaly International Academy in Verona, certifying his deep knowledge and commitment to Italian wines. So thank you for joining us back, Wim. I'm very much excited to hear what you have to tell us today. So cutting right to the chase, tell us why you selected Giovanni Fiorentino as your favorite producer.
Well, it's no problem in being back. It's a pleasure in doing this. And for Gianni, well, I chose Giovanni, as we say, Fiorentino, for the Italian Wine Podcast because of his unwavering passion and dedication to his small yet remarkable winery. Gianni's determination and belief in producing the best Taurasi wine are truly inspiring. His commitment to traditional winemaking methods, combined with innovative and sustainable practices, showcases his deep connection to the land and his craft. Gianni's story and his exceptional wines will undoubtedly provide valuable insight and inspiration to our listeners. And second reason is very easy. We are just back from a visit to his winery, so it's always interesting in telling something about it.
May I ask you, how did you discover the wines of Azienda Agricola Fiorentino?
Well, I discovered the wines from Gianni when I was invited to the Vinitaly. I believe this was in 2019. Gianni was one of the producers at the Irpinia tasting held during the Vinitaly. And for me, it's rare for a wine to leave me speechless, but that's exactly what happened with this Taurasi. Once I got back in Belgium, I immediately reached out to start working together.
Very much excited to try the Taurasi as well now. So last question, and then I'll leave the room up to you. But what are the learning objectives that we should expect from this interview?
I hope this interview can set a different view, both Aglianico and Taurasi. I'm always surprised, however, Taurasi is very well known in Italy, how unknown these wines are besides the well-known producers like Mastroberardino or Feudo di San Gregorio, aside Italy. And you know, once you have a well-aged Taurasi from these small little producers in your glass, you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Actually, now the show is yours, Wim. So good luck and have fun. Looking forward to hear what you guys have to say.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Gianni. A warm welcome to you from Paternopoli, Irpinia, Avellino. I say these words with a purpose because I believe it's important to start by discussing your location, as it provides valuable context for listeners who may not be familiar with Irpinia or Taurasi. Could you share us the unique characteristics of the land in Taurasi and a specific location of your vineyards, please?
Hi, everybody. Wim, thank you for your kind invitation. And I'm very happy to share my work and my ideas with you and with the listeners. So I can say to answer to your question that firstly, my winery is located in Paternopoli. This is a small rural town in the province of Avellino. It's a part of the broader area of Taurasi. The area of Taurasi includes several municipalities, several towns. They are 19. And this region is located at the center, in the heart of Campania region. We are 80 kilometers east of Naples, to let the listeners understand where Irpinia is. And this region has a unique terroir and climate that make it ideal for producing the renowned Taurasi wine. And we can say that the characteristics of the land are the soil, of course, the altitude, the climate, the exposure. Of course, the variety of the grapes. We will talk about Aglianico grapes, and the soil in particular. The soil that is mainly volcanic soil, rich in minerals such as sulfur, potassium, and these characteristics give to the wine complexity and depth. And we can say that we are not far from Vesuvio and from Vulture Balkans. So this land is rich in volcanic materials and volcanic ashes. The second characteristic is the altitude. The vineyards are located in an altitude in the area of Taurasi between 300 and 700 meters above sea level. And this favors a good temperature range between day and night, This allows to preserve the acidity and aromas of the grapes. And then another characteristic, of course, is the climate. The climate is Mediterranean. We'll hold dry summers and cool winters. We have rainfall in autumn and in winter. And this contributes to balance, to a balanced vegetative cycle. Okay, so there is a dry moment, and there is a period of rain in autumn, and we harvest very late, and this is something that gives the possibility to the grapes after a summer very hot to gain some water. And this contributes to a balance in the vegetative cycle. And then the exposure of the vineyards, they are often south and southwest facing. And this means that the vineyards are well exposed to the sun. And this fact facilitates an uniform ripening of the grapes, of course. And I think that these characteristics gave to the wine a very peculiar taste, a very good depth and complexity.
We experienced that in tasting your wines, and also experienced it while visiting you last month. You told me you weren't yet harvesting the Aglianico. So yes, I completely understand the issue of late harvesting and the good it does to the Aglianico grapes. Now, for you personally, Gianni, your first bottles of Taurasi, they debuted from 2016, showcasing the 2012 vintage. This marked a late start in your journey as a producer. When we initially spoke, your ambition to become one of the top Taurasi producers was apparent. Could you share more about what led to this decision, and where do you see yourself positioned on the Taurasi ladder today?
I can say that in general, Taurasi wines are currently well positioned in the market, even if they are not well known by the wide public of wine lovers, of customers. It's a niche product in some way. But you ask me what led me to this decision.
Exactly.
When you make an investment, it's not only economic. It involves even values and stories, personal stories. So I am the son of an immigrant. My father lived almost all life in U.S., in Massachusetts, in Chelsea, Boston, and my mother raised 4 children, and I was among them, working in the countryside and making wine. So I watched when I was a child my mother make wine, and she made kind of wines, Aglianico and Coda di Volpe, and Coda di Volpe is a white grape, And so underlying an investment, there are my goal to change the destiny of my family, because all my uncles, all my nephews, cousins live in U.S. They immigrated. And so we lived alone here. And my goal is to change this way and do something that is related to my family history, to my land. And so I started making wine early in the 90s. In the cellar of my house where I was born, and then I decided in 2012 to make a step forward. I put together all the vineyards of my family and built a new cellar. A new cellar in bioarchitecture. And so I'm trying to do a good job. To ask to your question about the positioning of my Taurasi on the ladder of wines. So I think that a small winery has a unique commitment to make an identitary job, a good job, to have a good reputation, and to move on to find a niche market, because I make 2,000, 25,000 bottles each year, and this means there is not a big production. I'm trying to make a good production, and so I hope that my winery and my wines are perceived as medium-high quality wines and wine. I hope so, but of course, customers, importers, and wine lovers could say more about this.
Yeah. You should be very proud of your wines. And I'm happy to listen to your story once again, and that explains a lot why your wines have a soul in it, and why I adore the working with your wines. So that's also my choice in choosing such small producers as you, who are not doing this because it's a job, but more because it's a passion about it. Now, Gianni, would you consider yourself more aligned with traditional winemaking practices or a modern approach? While our previous conversations suggest a commitment to preserving the traditions of the land, the taste of your wines hints at an innovative approach that doesn't strictly adhere to ancient rules. How do you navigate between tradition and innovation in winemaking?
Well, Wim, the relationship between the present and the past, the tradition and the innovation, is a very complex topic. Every day we face with news, blog, and social media that point on the differences between a way of making wine rather than another. So natural wines, traditional wines, artisanal wines, a word so complex and so full of messages, and we risk to lose the point. I want to be clear, I want to be honest. I have always thought that the best way to preserve a tradition is to innovate. Respect the tradition is important, but even my mother, even my grandfather Giovanni, that made wine in the past, they were innovative in their period. Respect their parents or grandfather. There is always something that goes forward, and so I try to keep an eye on the identity. For me, tradition means identity, not the way you make the wine, but keep the identity of a grape, keep identity of a land. But at the same time, I try to share my wines. I want my wines to be approachable, to be nice, to be shared. I don't make wine for myself. I want to share myself with the others. I have to respect the others. And I have at the same time to be aware that the taste is changed. My own taste changed over time. So to think that the past is like a paradise where everything was safe, was healthy, was good, was nice, for me it's wrong. It's wrong, because I think that we need to do a step forward, making more safe wine, more healthy wine, of course, but not struggling between different things, thinking that each one is doing the best wine. Because we lose the point. I want to say just another thing, and then I close on this point. When my mother or my grandfather had lunch, the first thing that went on the table, they put on the table was a bottle of wine, not dishes, not plates. So I want to point on this. We have to put the wine at the center of the drinks, because the risks are that the wine become a lateral, a side product, and not the central product that we love and we are used to see. So some discussion for me are out of time, and I point to be innovative and to make the wine something important in everyday life of the people.
Puts me at the same alignment as your mother then, because at home, at our place, it's always the wine was at first at the table. So I completely agree 1000% of what you are saying. I also think you should respect the traditions, but standing still is, like they are saying, going back. And if there are new methods, why don't you use them? So yes, Gianni, I completely agree with you. Now, and this is obvious, as a Taurasi producer, your focus is on the Aglianico grape. This ancient variety holds significance in winemaking. Could you delve into what set these grapes apart and makes it so special? Additionally, are there different types of Aglianico that you use, considering the variations found in Taurasi, Taburno, or Vulture in Basilicata?
Well, the Aglianico grape is considered special for several reasons. I can start with a quote of Denis Dubourdieu, the father of French enologists. He was in love with Aglianico grape, Aglianico wines, and he considered the Aglianico grape, the Aglianico wine, the most ancient wine and grape in history. And this is a big endorsement, we could say, on Aglianico by Denis Dubourdieu. Why Aglianico is so special? Its ancient origins. Is one of the oldest grape. The terroir, because grows well in volcanic soils. And I told you about the particular soil of this area, and the soil influences in a very positive way the flavor of this wine. The aromatic profile of Aglianico wines are very complex. There are notes of dark fruits, spices, earth, something floral, and this make these wines very complex, very interesting, varied. But above all, I can say that structure and longevity of Aglianico wines are the main characteristic. Aglianico is a low-yielding but high-intensity grape, and so produce robust tannic wines that can age very well. And the longevity of the wines of Taurasi allows us to appreciate the development of flavors over time. And I can say that Aglianico is so versatile. You know, Wim, that I produce a rosé wine from Aglianico grapes till a Riserva Taurasi from Aglianico grapes. So it's a very wide range of opportunity to work with this grape, and this grape so well considered because it's a very big grape to vinify. You asked me about the differences between the Aglianico from Vulture, from Irpinia, from San. I can say that Aglianico del Vulture is more robust, more complex wine with strong tannins and dark fruit spices are the nose of the nose. And so robust wine from Vulture, from the Taurasi from Irpinia. Aglianico from Irpinia is more elegant, for elegant wines, with more freshness than Vulture. And the Aglianico of Sannio, so we say Benevento area, is softer and fruitier. So there are different versions of Aglianico inside the same area, same region. To summarize, we can say that Aglianico del Vulture is known for its power, for its body, for its longevity. Aglianico dell'Irpinia offers elegance and freshness, and Aglianico del Sannio is distinguished by its softness and fruitness. And these differences make each expression of Aglianico so unique, so fascinating.
And are the difference because of the terroir only, Gianni? Or are there also the differences in the clones they are using of Aglianico in Vulture and in Sannio?
Yes, of course. I can say that every wine and every grape recalls the quality of the soil where the vines and grapes grow. So there are, in Vulture, we have the Balkan of Vulture, and so the soil are often very, of course, volcanic, and we have different soils between Vulture and Irpinia and Sannio that makes the difference in the glass at the end.
Okay, that's a nice bridge to my next question, because would it be accurate to say that the triangle in Paternopoli, Castelfranci, Montemarano is the best situated area in Taurasi, attributed to the soil, rich in volcanic ashes found there? And could you elaborate on the main differences in the soil that contribute to the quality of the Taurasi wines?
I can say that Paternopoli, for example, has become in the last few years the place where many wineries and big wineries are investing. So this means that there is an attention for this area, Paternopoli, Montemarano, Castelfranci, where there is produced the main quantities of grapes, and they say there is also the best quality, but of course I can say that not only the volcanic soil, the volcanic ashes and materials are important in this area, but the puzzle of different soils. We have volcanic soils, so rich in minerals, but we have soils rich in clay. My vineyards are rich in clay, and clay soils help to retain moisture well, and this is a benefit for Aglianico wines and Aglianico grapes, because clay contributed to a fuller body in wines and can enhance tannin structure. So this lead to wines that age very well. And then we have I can make the example of my vineyards. In the same vineyards, we find different composition of the soil. So we have part of the vineyards with calcareous soil composed of limestone and marl, and this soil provides for different mineral profile, and calcareous soils enhance the acidity, in particular, and freshness, you can say, and so this balance the richness of Aglianico grape. The results of vineyard, of soil, and grapes and wines from calcareous soil is wine lively, vibrant. And then we have other kind and low part of the valley. We have alluvial soils with sediments deposited by the rivers that flows in this area, and so the alluvial soils makes the growth of the vines very vigorous, but at the same time we lose something in concentration if the vineyards are not properly managed. So in this area, at the same time, we have microclimate. We harvest very late in the end of October, at beginning of November. There are photos of Aglianico grapes with the snow and past times before the change. And so this means that this combination of different soils, mainly clay with volcanic ashes and materials, this combination between soils and microclimate make this area so interesting and make this wine so significant in the world of wine.
We experienced these differences last month when we were visiting you, and we took our time driving through the beautiful Irpinia area. We also noticed that Avellino, and especially the surroundings of Avellino, are renowned, but not only for the Taurasi Aglianico wines, but also for two exceptional white wines, Greco di Tufo, Fiano di Avellino. While you currently produce a Coda di Volpe wine, are there any future plans for venturing into the production of Greco or maybe Fiano?
Well, about this question, I can say that mine is a small winery, and so I tried to emphasize the identity of the place, of the land, of the town, of the family history, as you told you before. So my mother made Coda di Volpe and Aglianico. Paternopoli is a place where Coda di Volpe is a grape very common, and it's not a place of Fiano or Greco. So I'm trying to work on this identitary grape that belongs to the history of my town, of my family. Coda di Volpe is a fantastic grape, often neglected, not well interpreted, always used to cut, to blend other wines like Fiano or Tufo. I am pointing on this wine and this grape because I believe that Coda di Volpe can be a very good wine. And I want to say to you, to the listeners, that I'm working too on a selezione of Coda di Volpe. So not only the Irpinia DOC Coda di Volpe, but even a selezione to make a wine that can age well and that the people and the wine lovers can appreciate, enjoy over time.
We're certainly looking forward in tasting this Riserva type of Coda di Volpe. Meanwhile, your normal Coda di Volpe is already very, very tasteful. In our previous question, you mentioned the Aglianico vineyards being under the snow while harvesting, etc. And these things are changing. Well, let's go a little bit deeper into this matter. And when considering the future, how do you perceive the rising temperatures impacting the wine production in your region? And furthermore, do you believe Aglianico can sustain its position in the vineyards despite these climate changes?
Of course, the climate change, the change of temperature is a significant concern for winemakers. And at the same time, I am understanding many things, working with my colleagues, and there are some positive information that I am understanding about. Of course, the increase in temperature can lead to an early ripening of grapes. It's clear. And this might affect the balance between the sugar level and the acidity, could result in wines that are higher in alcohol and lower in acidity. And the higher temperature can create drought conditions, and so putting stress on vines, particularly on clay soils. This could lead to reduced yields and affect the quality of the grapes. And I noticed the last year in particular, pest and disease pressure on the vineyards. 2023 was very particular for a big pressure of diseases on the vineyards. So warmer climates may encourage the spread of pests and disease that can threaten vineyards. And so we have in front of us many questions. But at the same time, I can say, I want firstly say that the last year I noticed on the vineyards new guests, new insects. New insects that always live in the north of Africa. They arrived then in Sicily. Then I read then they arrived in Calabria, in Puglia, now in Campania. This is the la cicalina, we call it in Italian, is the cicada, the Libyan cicada. So it is an insect that develops in Libya, and now we found it in Italy, in the south of Italy. This means a lot. Very, very strong change. But Aglianico is known for its hardness and its ability to thrive in challenging conditions. So making it a strong candidate for new sustainability in the face of climate change. So I can say that the whole history of Aglianico and the quality of this grape is something that now can be important to face the climate change.
Okay, that was interesting. I truly hope this, how do you call it, La Schialina, the Libyan insect, is not going to cause that much trouble in the vineyards and is not going to do something serious with it. Now, last Vinitaly, you invited me to an event a consortio did in Verona for the Irpinia area. And I would like to ask you to address this lack of awareness about Taurasi, and I'm particularly among non-wine enthusiasts in countries like mine, in Belgium, certainly in other countries. What strategies do you believe the consortio should implement to raise the region's profile and make it more widely known?
I think that Irpinia is not well known in Italy and abroad. So I think that there is a big work to do to make Irpinia known in the world. Irpinian wines, in particular, of course, Taurasi, Fiano, Greco, they are known in a niche public, but they need to be known by the great public. So I think that consortium, but not only the consortium, even the public administrations of the municipalities, the province, the region should make an effort to promote our land, because we have truly interesting wines that deserve to be known as well. So I think that the consortium could work on educational campaigns, organizing events like in Belgium or in other countries to introduce Taurasi wines through guided testing, and so emphasizing the unique characteristics of this wine and the food pairings. At the same time, I think that Irpinia needs to build a brand. We miss a brand. We don't have a brand so strong that could help Irpinia in the international market. So marketing, branding, and territorial marketing are all strategies that consortium together with local institutions could implement. And I think the consortium could support the importers and the winemakers and wineries to work abroad in foreign countries. And at the same time, I think that it's very important to support the enoturistic tourism, the wine tourism initiatives. So to encourage the wine tourism in Irpinia is growing. And say that is growing, of course, but we can do much more because Irpinia is a fantastic land that deserves to be visited. And so I think wine tourism is a leverage that we can use to improve the knowledge of this land. Of course, I think the digital platforms, and I'm very happy tonight to talk with you and to share my experience on a digital platform. I think that digital platforms, influencers and collaboration with these platforms are very, very important, because we have to talk to a wider public and not only to a part, a slice of this wide public. I think the consortium of producers can enhance the visibility of Taurasi wines, not only in Belgium, Wim, but even beyond. So this combination of education, marketing, collaboration with digital platform could help to create a stronger appreciation for our wines among the wine lovers, among non-wine enthusiasts.
Okay, believe me, Gianni, we really are doing our best in putting your Irpinia wines on the Belgium wine tables and getting them to be a little bit more common in Belgium instead of the other more popular wines from Italy. Now, Gianni, I have a couple of questions for my personal needs. I relish every sip of your Taurasi and even your Irpinia Aglianico Chelsea. I set aside a few bottles of your Reserva in my private cellar. And given Taurasi's need for aging, in your opinion, how long should I patiently wait before these wines reach their optimal drinking points?
Taurasi wines typically require some time to reach their optimal drinking point. But of course, we can enjoy the life of a wine, like the life of a person when it's young, when it's middle-aged, when it's old. So the same is the same for wine, for Taurasi. I think that there are different stages of Taurasi. The first stage is about 5 years old, and you can test it, and you may still find in this Taurasi some pronounced tannins and useful fruit flavor. And so you will find a robust tannic profile in 5 years. Between 5 and 10 years, you find a more approachable Taurasi because the Taurasi begins to show more balance. The tannins start to soften. You find secondary flavors like leather, spice, savory notes. And so all this complexity begins to emerge better. So it's more approachable between 5 and 10 years. The optimal drinking window, I can say, is 10, 15 years. Of course, not easy to say because this means to wait. You have to be more patient. You have to wait long before you test my Taurasi or Taurasi in general. 10 years at this point, you can say that Taurasi reaches harmony, a balance, food balance between fruit, acidity, tannin, alcohol. So the aromas and flavors are well developed, and so the wine is very enjoyable. After 15 years, the wine continues its development, of course. There are deeper complexity, deeper nuance, and however, the wine might lose something in fruitness, but it remains anyway very good wine. I hope I answered your question. I hope you will have the patience to wait.
Well, certainly we have to have this patience. I asked this question because a couple of years ago, we had a special Taurasi tasting in one of our wine clubs. And we put 10 different Taurasi wines from 10 different producers on the tasting table. We were impressed by the wines, but we all had the feeling the wines were drunk too young. And we immediately decided to rebuy the same bottles of Taurasi and to do this tasting 5 years later again. And last year we did it. And we need to say that the wines, the impression of being too young improved, but we still felt that it could take some more time in a bottle to have the optimal drinking point. So yes, you have to be patient with Taurasi for this matter. Gianni, two ends. I am, in addition of being a wine enthusiast, I'm a great food lover. But beside being a great food lover, I love pairing food and wine. That's one of my biggest passions. And I find a great joy in selecting the perfect wine to complement a dish. For a refined Taurasi like yours, I often recommend enjoying it at the end of the meal with a nice cigar. Could you kindly suggest an even better pairing?
Yes, Wim, I will. First of all, I will say that I'm very enthusiastic about your passion about cigars. Is the same here, and so I love to smoke a good cigar, good Toscano with a good red wine with a good Taurasi, and so it's okay, it's perfect, and I appreciate. Of course, not only a cigar is a good pairing, but you are in Belgium. You know, Belgium is very known for its good quality chocolate. And so I think dark chocolate could be a good pairing with Taurasi, because the bitterness and the richness of dark chocolate harmonize with the fruit and dirty notes of the Taurasi. At the same time, I think that a good plate, a cheese plate with small pieces of Parmigiano Reggiano or Pecorino could be good to enjoy at Taurasi, because of course the cheese helps to complement the tannins and the acidity of Taurasi, and itself enhance the complexity of wine. And the last one, I think that mixed or roasted hazelnuts, walnuts, and almonds could be nice to enjoy with a Taurasi, because this salty nose provides for a contrast. It's a pairing, a matching by contrast with the structure of the wine. So the cigar is my favorite. We agree on this, I think. But you can try some cheese, dark chocolate from Belgium, of course, and some roasted nuts. Sorry.
Okay, Jenny, thank you very much. I will definitely try one of your selected choices to pair with the Taurasi. I was thinking you would say to pair it with a wild boar, because we noticed you have a lot of problems with wild boars and keeping them outside of your vineyards. But okay, Jenny, thank you very much. And it was a pleasure in interviewing you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to share with the listeners my experience and hope to see you again soon. Okay, thank you very much for to Italian Wine Podcast.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciated your time, first of all, and also the inputs you shared. Because, for example, I wasn't very familiar with Aglianico in Rosé, so there's definitely a lot of information that I'm gonna dip in the next days. So thank you again for being here, and hope to talk with you again soon.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.